Hello, hi, welcome back to the Spirit of Watercolor with Linda. And wow, you know, another month has passed, another video has gone up on the YouTube, and I think you may have seen it already. I'm going to mat it here. This was using two colors, and people seem to really enjoy it. It's kind of an odd combination, but it's contrasting colors, and we used Quin Rose and deep sap green, and people seem to like these where I take a couple, 2 or 3 at the most colors and combine them and use them only. It's a limited palette, it's called, okay, limited palette. And Daniel Smith has some fascinating colors, right? So I've been going through my many tubes of their paints. I have a lot. I don't have as many as they make because it's like 280 colors, but I definitely have a large array of them, and some are so interesting and make our paintings so wonderful and interesting. So I have some for you today. But first of all, I want to thank the new subscribers as well as those who keep coming back to my videos. So welcome. And then the colors I'm looking at today are, I was going through studying, I do this from time to time, studying their colors and anything new, and they have all these new ones for 2025, and they look really light and pastel to me, and I'll think about it, but I don't rush into any purchases, especially when I have a lot of wonderful colors already. So I dug through my palette of paints, my many tubes, and I thought about this. I think you'll enjoy this. These are incredibly granular paints, and they're beautiful. And so, you know, they have Primatech series, they have luminescent series, you know, where they have a series of paints that have similar qualities. These ones are called the Lunar, L-U-N-A-R, Lunar Colors. And they do have a sort of a lunar quality because of the granulation, okay, extreme granulation, more than your average like ultramarine blue and those kinds of things. So the 3 that I have are Lunar Black, I have Lunar Earth, and Lunar Red Rock, okay, and they are similar but different. And they also have some I don't have, so we will do a painting with these. I may add a couple other colors just to bring it alive, because these are very much into the realm of black and brown, okay? And they are beautiful, but we might want to add just a little touch of something, maybe a touch of cobalt, or I don't know, some color in there to see, you know, what, if we need it. And again, I've done paintings that are just blacks and grays, and they can be very wonderful too. But we'll decide that later. So join me at the table as you always do, and hopefully have fun just watching them and or trying these paints, doing what I'm doing, following along, because my paintings are supposed to be quick but beautiful, doing what watercolors do. So they tend to be more wet on wet, and using some of the other gimmicks, if you will, such as sponging and spattering and those kinds of things. If you've seen my videos, you know that. So anyway, we'll go to the table and we'll explore these 3 that I have. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm using to create this painting using the Lunar colors that I own. So I'm going to zoom here, and these are swatches of those 3 colors, and you can see the granulation if we get really close. The Lunar Earth is here. It's a beautiful color. I don't know if I got it as saturated as it can be. It dried lighter, but you can glaze over it more and more and get a stronger saturation. And then Lunar Red Rock, which is definitely redder if you look at the 2. Okay, and also then we have our Lunar Black, which I'm going to actually mix with the phthalo to create the Lunar Blue, or I'm going to use blue, I think it's blue Apatite Genuine. I'm going to look it up. I have a color that's so similar according to people's reviews that we could probably use that for our sky. Okay. Now I want to show you that I'm over here is a book that I've got that I purchased and probably reviewed a while ago. This watercolor book. And so you might, if you sometimes need to go back to basics, you might like a book like this. And it has many ideas and techniques in this book. It's wonderful. And it reminds me of things I've forgotten. So it's forgotten sometimes. And then here is a picture that I really like because it's got those kind of lunar earthy colors, a lot of it. It's just a landscape of a road. But I find this coming at me is a little too centered for me, and of course I do want to change it and make it my own and use these colors. So what I've done here so far is, let's just bring this over here. Trying to make sure my ring light is over top. And I've just drawn the horizon line, and then I brought in I'm bringing my road to kind of go over at an angle. I think that's how it's going to go. It may come this way. I may put it up here. I could change that. I'm still debating where exactly I want it. And then I'm going to fill in the rest of the, very similar to this book here. Of course, this doesn't have the lovely blue that I want to use, the lunar colors and the earthy colors, but I'm going to improvise and change to get the granulation going here. And I may add some other things in the painting. It has some trees. I'd like to maybe do some of those. I might even put in a little building back there. It might be nice. I don't do that very often, and maybe should do something like that once in a while. Add a little point of interest, right? Okay. So here I will show you a sketch of this. Of course, like I said, I took this example from the book, and I've changed the road a bit, and I'm using my lunar colors. Okay. Now, and looking at my sketch, let's see if I can bring it up a bit for you. It's using those lunar colors. Okay, the 3 lunar colors: Lunar Earth, the Lunar Red Rock, and Lunar Black. And I also made out of the Lunar Black, I made a blue like the lunar blue, but I used indanthrone blue. I think you could use any blue that you like and create something, but it will just be in the tones you want, whether you want a reddish blue or a more cool blue, warm blue. So I did that, and I brought in a lot of it just so we can see the granulation. Let me bring that up a little closer. It's still drying, but you can see the granulation in this piece, and I will do it for you large, and it should come out even better. This is Strathmore paper. I just did a quick through to see, and then here we have our painting we're going to do on nice Saunders paper. Okay, so here I've increased my speed, so we'll quick through it and wet the paper with the clear water. And then we're coming in with what I mixed to create a lunar blue. And it kind of separated a little, so you'll see more sometimes blue and sometimes the lunar color, and then sometimes together, which actually I like because that's how a sky can work. So there you go. We're going to keep moving here and adding color. Oh, I added a little bit of Lunar Earth in there as well, because then it will mimic the land, and you'll see how that helps the top relate to the bottom, so the painting looks unified. It's just watercolor technique there. As the watercolor soaks into the wet paper, it does fade, so you need to bring in more color as you go. And that's just, where we bring in more concentration of color and let that blend into the former application of the watercolor. Okay, so now we're bringing in the lunar Earth in the land in the background, and we'll start wetting our paper again, and just with clear water and a big brush, and then in we go now with our lunar granular beautiful colors. Here we go. By the way, if you don't have a 1-inch flat brush, I highly recommend you do. I stick with sable. They're more affordable these days. I know it may be debatable with some people to use, but they grow the animal's hair and then cut the hair. It's not like they're hurting the animals. I'm pretty sure that's how it is, but people get all worked up about, harming animals, which isn't the intent when you're using a red sable or something like that. And to say why we use the flat brush is, it covers so much more area and you get a fresher look. You put a lot of paint on that, and of course not as much in the middle ground or background there. I'm using a lighter concentration of color. But as you can see, I'm applying that flat brush to the foreground with higher concentration of color and just putting it on quickly and letting it, do what watercolors do for me, and keeping it so fresh, so fresh. So it was basically finished. I did add some details of a few trees, beginnings of a building in the background and some grasses in the foreground. And you could do that. You can start to detail in. I may put more trees because it looks a little, out of balance somehow in the background, or maybe more trees around the building and finish the little building or house. And that's up to you. You don't have to add those things. You could just add trees, it's up to you. But I just wanted us to really basically learn all about the wonderful granular lunar watercolor. So I hope that you learned from this video and could try these beautiful watercolors, another thing to add to your repertoire of art supplies. And please continue to join me. I'm looking forward to seeing you, and we'll keep on going and growing in the spirit of watercolor. Bye for now.